Good morning, El Paso, and welcome back to your weekly AMP podcast. Thanks for joining me. Today is actually Wednesday. I kind of changed around my schedule. Actually, more like my schedule changed up on me. I feel like the days have been getting better. It's been really nice outside during the day now. We're starting to get really pretty days where I'm starting to pretty much. I try to take advantage of the day, like the daylight, and try to get stuff done outside. Because once it starts getting dark, it still starts getting cold. So that actually kind of made my whole schedule change around in regards to recording this podcast. So that is actually why I am recording. I feel like Tuesday is still the better day to record, but we're doing some construction, some very light construction here at the house. So with that, the part of that I get to do is all the cleanup. Since I don't know how to do all like the bigger stuff, I guess. So I try to use up during the day and stuff. We're adding some lights, so at night we don't have a lot of light, and it's a lot warmer during the day because once the sun starts going down, it still starts getting cold, and I just want to be able to use up all the time that I can to get all these things done. So that kind of makes the podcast run a little late. But next week I'll try to record Tuesdays. I feel more comfortable. I mean, it's a Wednesday in the middle of the night, so this is kind of when I have the time to do it. So if anything, I should probably start doing it Tuesdays at night, and just kind of use up that time to do it. But I mean, I've been doing a little bit of studying and some just cleaning up the yard, getting ready for the summer here. So I mean, unfortunately for me too, because this is it's kind of my fun little hobby that it's kind of my baby here with the podcast, and I hate to kind of neglect it a little bit, So next week, hopefully, I'll get back on track. Plus, I'm just still getting kind of my schedule figured out, but I'm already here, and I already have some of the events coming up for this next weekend, and I was just finishing up some of the things here that I have on my little list. So I just wanted to see how everybody's Valentine's Day went. I actually didn't see a lot more stuff whenever I was driving around. I did see a lot of people with a lot of ladies with their flower arrangements and little gifts on the passenger seat of their car, which was it's nice. That's pretty cool. But I mean, I didn't think it was kind of like a huge deal. It seems like to other years around Walmart and maybe other stores, you see a lot of the gifts, a lot of like the big giant bears and all the little gifts there. But this year, like I said, I saw driving around, I saw a lot of ladies with their little arrangements there. Which, that's nice, like I said, and it seems like everybody was pretty safe. I didn't hear anything too crazy, aside from, I guess, your regular, I mean, we have tragedies and things that happen every day, but compared to, I guess, some crazy issues, I guess we don't have a lot of things like that. And aside from kind of your, I hate to say it, but I guess your kind of normal accidents and things like that we know are kind of going to happen, I don't think we heard a lot of crazy stuff. I did hear, I'm sure everybody goes around their day. Maybe you listen to a couple of news stories that are pretty sad. And unfortunately, I think there was a couple sad stories. And, like I said, things that you kind of expect to happen. It kind of sucks to have to hear these stories and everything. But, as far as the whole Valentine's and all those things that I kind of try to talk about here in the podcast, everything seemed kind of normal, I guess. And yeah, everybody seemed kind of had a nice time. And like I said, it's kind of cool, I guess, to see people happy about the holiday, and maybe you went out on a date or things like that. So yeah, this next weekend though, there's a lot more events coming up. There's a lot of events going on with the approach of the Mardi Gras celebration. I'm not gonna try to pretend like I know the religious aspect of Mardi Gras. All I know is Fat Tuesday, and I know is it Ash Wednesday, I believe. But I've never been big on. My family was never really big on the like those kinds of traditions, and for me, I never really followed it on my own, so I don't really know what the whole I guess celebration would be, if it is a celebration. Like I said, I don't know. I mean, it might be one of those things that it's that, well, it's not a celebration, it's one of those things that you kind of observe. But like I said, I don't really know much about it, but I do know that maybe a lot of people do like the whole Mardi Gras, and like going out and having a party, or just going out with friends and maybe drinking a little bit and having a good time. And of course, all these places that make big events about it. I didn't look far up ahead until Tuesday. Maybe I'll do that here while I'm doing the podcast. I'm still working on my multitasking, but I didn't look far ahead until Tuesday, the 25th, I believe, is actually. Is that actually Mardi Gras? Mardi is Tuesday, right? Mardi. Well, yeah, I didn't look that far up ahead, but maybe if I have a little bit of time, I'll look into it here while I'm actually doing the podcast, and maybe we'll see what is going on at the beginning of next week. So let's go ahead and get started here. Like I said, it's already Wednesday. It's actually Wednesday around midnight, so I'm going to talk about all these events starting on Thursday. We actually have a lot of things going on Thursday and the whole weekend. Actually, we have a little bit of sports. We have a little bit of shows, and a bunch of other stuff that I'm sure that I'll probably miss. But I did kind of get a pretty good list here for Thursday, which is February the 20th. Is February kind of one of those months that goes by really quick for everybody? I mean, it's usually a short. Is this year a leap year? I think I heard something. It might have been a leap year, but I'm not entirely 100% sure, I guess. Well, anyway, I mean, I guess I'll find out next week. And I'm kind of taking it kind of a week at a time now, especially with a podcast. As soon as I put out the podcast, and then the weekend comes by, then all my work was kind of in vain and stuff, I guess. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of things. So, and that's why I try to do it every week, to try to keep up with all the things that are going on. And I know, and I feel bad because I know I miss a lot of events, and I try to, I try to do it. It's just, we do have a lot of stuff coming up. And I mean, obviously I really can't keep up with all these things here. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started here with our very first event coming up on Thursday. And like I said, usually Thursdays, even Fridays, most of the events that happen starting around 5:30, heading into the evening, because for normal people, I guess for normal people generally, your work week is Monday through Friday, and people usually get out 6, 4. I mean, I know some people get out at 3. I know a couple of people that they go in super early, but getting out at 3 is kind of nice because you kind of have a lot of time left in your day. There's a lot of sunshine, and it to me it kind of feels like the middle of the day, and it just seems like getting out at 3 seems like it's early for some reason. And I know some people that get out at 6, 7. and some people that get out at 8, some people that work nights, like yours truly. So, like I said, I usually try to do this Thursday. It's working out fine. Oddly enough, it's not really fine for weeks like this coming one, which I guess it's a big holiday, right? Or it's a big day. It happens to fall on Tuesday. This is one of those weeks where, there's still a lot of stuff to do over the weekend anyway, but it just seems like everything kind of gets overshadowed by the Fat Tuesday and Mardi Gras stuff. And Ash Wednesday, are we going to see a bunch of people with a little thing on their forehead, right? Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. This is Thursday, February the 20th, already almost done here with the month, the shortest month. Well, for starters, this is starting at 5:30. There's going to be an opportunity, like an open house, for people to come and apply for all it's pretty much the MCAT open house, opportunities open house, and that is at 5:30. And this one was for events, I believe. You can, for all the downtown farmers shows, let me read it up again here. It's basically, it's ways to learn how to participate in all the programs and project sponsored by the MCAD, which is the Museums and Cultural Affairs Department here in El Paso. And that is basically like your downtown farmers market, and about all of our other things that have here that are sponsored by the museums and pretty much all those things here in El Paso. And this is a good place I think vendors. I read earlier that this is a good place for vendors to meet. That way you can go ahead and know when to show up. And this is pretty much an open house to kind of know how to get involved in all these events, and you could show your talent, your products, and things like that, which is actually kind of cool. And this is starting on Thursday, which is today, at 5:30 at the El Paso Energy Auditorium, which is in the second floor of the MCAT building there in El Paso. I think I have the address here. Never mind, I don't think I have the address here. I can tell you it's, let me see, maybe I could get the address here. It's on North Santa Fe Street and Sheldon Court. But, if you just look MCAD, I'm sure if you look it up, like I said, this is a podcast. I try to direct you. And, if you're interested in some of these things, you can, of course, go. Also following on Thursday at 7 p.m., the Rock House Bar and Grill is going to have In Search of Solace and Call It Home and a bunch of other local bands. If you've actually ever been to the Rock House Bar and Grill, they actually have a pretty nice vibe. And I like that have a lot of, they support a lot of the local bands. We have a lot of really cool bands. And, maybe it's not your cup of tea or something, but we still have a lot of local bands that have different styles and everything, and that's actually always cool to see, because we have a lot of incredibly talented bands, groups, and just people, and that is artists at the local events, and of course here in music. And there's going to be about 6 bands there, and they're going to be starting at 7 p.m. there at the Rock House Bar and Grill. Tickets are $10, and most people are welcome there. The Rock House Bar and Grill is located at 9828 Montana Avenue. And go ahead and meet them there. If you have maybe friends that are performing, that's always a good place to go. Or to just catch some local music. That is always a pretty good place to go. And kind of switching gears there. Also on Thursday, the 20th at 7:30 at the Fox Fine Arts Recital Hall there in UTEP. There's going to be a popular percussionist there at the UTEP Fox Fine Arts Recital Hall. Tickets are $6. And that is a percussionist with guest Mark Stone. And if you want to go out maybe for some laughs, the comic strip has your weekly event for incoming comedians. We always have almost weekly. Actually, I would say we have some very good comedians. I mean, some nationally known comedians, and this week is no exception. This is going to be the comic strip is going to be having Dustin Ibarra at 7:30. Tickets are $6 or between $6 and about $16. And that's always a good time. You get some drinks, you get some laughs. It's a good place for a date if you want to take somebody to go have a good time and stuff. Every once in a while, I've heard, not here actually, I think they do a pretty good job here, but, whenever we go out, we try to have a good time. And every once in a while, you get some rowdy people and everything. Like I said, I haven't heard anything here for a while of anybody getting rowdy, but, like I said, it's a good place for just entertainment, a date, or just hanging out there at the comic strip. This week, Dustin Ibarra is going to be there. Later that night, also, or later tonight, actually, Thursday, Speaking Rock is going to be having Broken Dime, which is a pop rock and a Spanish group, to perform there, and that is 18 and over only at Speaking Rock Casino, and that's actually going to do it for Thursday. Oh man, sorry, did I just snort my freaking nose here right in the microphone, huh? Okay, let's go ahead and move on to Friday. And Friday, we actually have a few sports things here going on. We have some UTEP softball. They're at the Helen of Troy softball complex. UTEP's going to be having a couple of games there starting at 3:30. And then later that day, there's a couple of events, and just bear with me here. I'm going to be switching out pages here. There's going to be an open mic night at Perfect Day Cafe, which, I'm actually going to go share this right now since it's already, maybe a couple days, one and a half days out. But yeah, that's going to be an open mic night. Is that kind of hard to say, or is that just me? Open mic night at Perfect Day Cafe. And that is, let me see, I had the open mic night. Oh yeah, Perfect Day Cafe is located at 5809 North Mesa. So go out there, and I think you have to sign up. I think you could sign up until that day too, for their open mic night. And this actually happens to be their very first open mic night, which a lot of places around town have open mic nights, which is actually kind of cool. Especially there's always venues opening up to, like I said, encourage the local talent to get out and about, and then eventually you meet other artists from the area, and that's how we get all these awesome bands and all this talent, and it's always a good time, like I said, and it's pretty exciting to always see these all these people come together in all their ways, and all these other different kinds of ways, especially I guess in the name of art. It's always kind of nice. And that's going to be starting, like I said, Friday, the 21st, between 6 and 8. And again, that is at 5809 North Mesa at the Perfect Day Cafe, an open mic night. Their very first open mic night. All right, so moving on. Later that's right. It's going to be at 7 p.m. There's at the Don Haskins. There's going to be a concert of Alan Jackson, which is I think he's a pretty big deal country singer, right? Alan Jackson. I know. I mean, I've definitely heard of his name. Is it Alan Jackson? Yeah. So anyway, that's going to be at 7, and you should probably have your tickets already, which is Thursday. You probably should have had them. If you're a big country fan, you probably should have had them maybe a few days ago. Again. Okay. Sorry. I'll try to stop doing that. And also, the Speaking Rock Casino is also going to be having a pop rock group there at their concert. What is it? A hall? Their stage, their indoor stage there. It's called Lucky Girl Band, and that is a popular pop rock music group. That's also going to be happening at the same time. It's the El Paso Rhinos at the El Paso County Coliseum, and The Plaza Theater is going to be having their night at the Met. And this is kind of a big event, and it's centered around opera. Especially for events like this, people, it's always kind of dressed to impress. People go out kind of dressed pretty nice there. And also Friday, we're going to have Dustin Ibarra again at the comic strip there in for some comedy. Friday is a good night for that. And then later, going on over to Sunland Park and Racetrack and Casino, there's going to be, I guess this is more like a cumbia kind of tropical. Well, look, actually, they have here tropical or tropical, I guess, banda norteño group. It's called Silueta. And that is at Sunland Park Racetrack and Casino between 8 and midnight, which, that's kind of a perfect night to go out and dance and have a good time. Also on Friday at the same time, Speaker Rock Casino is going to have Sonora Scandalo and Ingrata Pop, which, these guys, like I said, I've mentioned it before that I really love Sonora Scandalo. They're a good band. It's good music. It's catchy and it's good stuff that you can dance. So you don't have an excuse if you want to go out, maybe have a good time. There's two perfect places on either side of town, so you really don't have much of an excuse. Moving on. Oh, and the comic strip shows are usually, again, like I said, for Dustin Ibarra at the comic strip. Most comic strip shows are, most of the time, are at 7:30 and 9:30. Just an FYI, because I know I'll keep mentioning it, but there's nothing wrong with calling it out again, I guess, right? Let me see what else. Okay, that's pretty much it for Friday. It's a pretty solid lineup for the whole list of events that you have on Friday, which is the beginning of your weekend there. So let's go ahead and get over to our Saturday, which our Saturday I was still actually finishing up some of my list here. On Saturday we have quite a bit of stuff going on. That's going to be starting with we're going to have a this is going to be the event of women in architecture. If my computer will load, I'll let you know where. I'll let you know all the details of that. And this event is on Facebook. I'll go ahead and share it. This is going to be the architecture department at Texas Tech, not West Texas. The architecture department at Texas Tech University here in El Paso. And that is women in architecture. I'll go ahead and post a link to the AMP Facebook page here. That way you can find it. And that's going to be going on. You know what? I'll actually post that one on Friday night. That way it could be up and ready for Saturday. But that is women in architecture, and it basically is going to talk about the role that women have been coming up in architecture. I actually read something. I think it was in one of my other pages. I mean, and I have like 3 or 4 pages open here, so one of the other pages might have some events that the current one I'm looking at doesn't have. So I apologize. But again, you could find it on Facebook. I'll share it. And this is Women in Architecture. And that's the architecture department at Texas Tech University in El Paso. And that is starting nice and early at 10 in the morning. So don't miss it. Plus, I feel like we're in a kind of a time of empowering women, right? And we have a lot of strong women all over the place. I mean, we even had that. That's something I heard last week. The female coach, which it was kind of a big deal that she was a female coach, and she actually just wanted to be recognized as just simply a coach. Because from what I've heard, after the Super Bowl, I kind of don't pay attention to football anymore because I don't really care about the off season. I don't really care about the XFL so much. How I should probably get into it. But I heard that she was a coach and everybody was making a big deal that she was a female coach. And she was like, you know what? I'm just a good coach. And everybody was like, oh, okay. So, but still, you should give credit where credit is due. And, I feel like we're moving to a more equal kind of thing. We're in a weird kind of transition time where people are going through like equality issues where some people think we're overdoing it, some people think we're not doing enough, but we're still having the conversation, which I think is actually something pretty positive, and everybody, of course, is going to have their own opinions. And I believe that's part of the process for better here. In that, anyway, so let's go ahead and move on. That is going to be, again, Women in Architecture. They're at the Texas Tech here in El Paso. Moving on, we're going to have the Downtown Art and Farmers Market. They're at the Union Plaza, as we usually do these weekends. Which, like I said, once the sun comes out, everything is getting better. And that's why, that's one of the reasons why my podcast is kind of running behind about a day, maybe. About a day and a half, because, from Tuesday morning to Wednesday night is about a day and a half, right? Anyway, so we are moving on to, there's going to be a photography class at the Church of Christ of Eastwood. I'm trying to find I write all these down. Is that still kind of old school? So I write these down, and then I kind of find them online. That way I could have them, because online, for some reason, everything's kind of all out of order, I guess. I don't know why. I don't know if that even makes sense. But like I said, I try to write these down, and I kind of keep my order here going on, and then I have to kind of look for them again on my laptop here. And I actually sometimes even use my phone. It's, I guess, more screens, we're moving toward that. And that is actually at the Church of Christ in Eastwood. And there's going to be a photography class also on Saturday, also at 10 in the morning. So, you have a lot of things going on. Saturday morning, if you want to get up early and go out and be productive on your weekend, that is always a good things to go out and do. And we also have, this one was actually something that I came across, and I actually really liked it. I thought it was something cool, this next event here, and it's handmade Acoma pottery at the museum, the El Paso Museum of Archaeology. And this is also, again, this is also sponsored by the MCAT, which is the Museum and Cultural Affairs Department here in El Paso, which, you're going to have an opportunity. Then they're going to have an open house to bring all these other people. And in this, it's kind of going to be a demo and a lecture, and you're going to be seeing all these. I think it's all women that actually take care of doing the pottery and kind of having this kind of a lesson kind of thing. But yeah, this is one of the things that I thought was kind of cool, and that's going to be starting at 12:30 here on Saturday at the El Paso Museum of Archaeology, and that is handmade Acoma pottery, demo and lecture. Or what did I say? And then this is well, actually, like I said, these are a little bit out of order because I'm still trying to get the hang of it here. But just before that, at noon at the El Paso Public Library, there's going to be a DIY art show. And obviously, these are always geared toward just anybody in the community, actually. But I think it's geared toward kids and maybe some younger adults. And, even if you're just want to go out and do something to do with art, going out to all these events is always kind of nice. Again, that's going to be at noon on Saturday. They're at the El Paso Public Library. And that's pretty much that one and the Acoma pottery one. Those are the kind of to tie it in. That way you could finish your morning with in an art way. And then after that, you could probably enjoy your lunch, maybe some lunchtime, maybe a nap. I don't know what you guys do on weekends or on your Saturdays too. If you get up early, there's no reason why you shouldn't go on a nap, right? You deserve it. Plus, you've been working all week, so come on. You definitely deserve all that. So on Saturday, following that, to go ahead and get your afternoon started, for the whole Mardi Gras thing coming up, starting, I would assume, Saturday night, you can start it off with the Mardi Gras Crawfest, and this one is hosted by the Kaleidoscope Art Market. and that is at German Pub. And these guys, I honestly can say that I love these guys. They host really cool events. They always encourage local artists, local people that make crafts, and all these things. And it's always a really good vibe. If you go, I definitely recommend going here. And there's going to be crawfish, so go enjoy some Mardi Gras. Go get some beads. I would assume they would have some beads. There's going to be vendors. They always have live music. There's going to be crawfish. And there's going to be Mardi Gras and Mardi Gras cosplay also. So don't forget to join them starting at 5, and that one goes all the way on to 11 p.m. at German Pub, and the address is 9530 Viscount. Again, that is the Kaleidoscope Art Market hosting the Mardi Gras Crawfest this Saturday, starting at 5. Moving on from there, going on to the Plaza Theater, I believe. Oh, I forgot to click here. The Plaza Theater is going to be having continuing their night at the Met here on continuing Saturday at the Plaza Theater there, and again also on Saturday you're gonna have the comic strip hosting Mr. Dustin Ibarra for a couple shows, 7:30 and 9:30. And also Saturday, there's going to be a few games at the El Paso Coliseum. There's going to be the El Paso Rhinos. Let me see what else. Oh, at 6, we're going to have Sullivan Park Racetrack and Casino is going to have their whiskey at the park. And also Saturday, there's going to be the UTEP softball over at the Helen of Troy softball complex. Anyway, so moving on again, back on track. Saturday is also kind of a big deal. We're going to have Pitbull there at the El Paso County Coliseum starting at 8. And you should have already had your tickets for this. And I guess this is kind of the downfall. I don't know if for events this big, I should probably start doing kind of maybe a week in advance. Because even a week in advance, I would assume is not big enough or long enough time for someone as Pitbull. Because I know they're fans or even people that like to have fun and kind of party. I know they probably already have their tickets for this because tickets for this concert are pretty pricey. And it's Pitbull. I mean, he was in the Super Bowl pregame show, right? So and that dude's been, there's a reason why he calls himself Mr. Worldwide, or people call him Mr. Worldwide. He's a pretty big deal, and he's gonna be here. So go out and have a good time. And if you maybe have somebody or you yourself like some of these older bands, you don't have to go to Pitbull. You could head on over to Speaker Rock and you could go to the tribute of Los Bukis, starting there at 8:30 in Speaker Rock Casino. And these shows are always free. You can get some drinks there. You could maybe even do a little gambling, and you can enjoy some of your. I could still say old school kind of music, right, from Los Bukis. And there's going to be a tribute there. And again, the night at the Met, so they're at the Plaza Theater, is going to continue on because that's going to start at 7:30, right? Are they doing different events because of intermission? Anyway, it's starting at 7:30, right? So it's going to go on later that night also. Let me see. I had another. Yeah, I think that's it for my Saturday, actually. And for my Sunday, there's not a lot of stuff, but we do still have some events here. Starting Sunday early morning, so if you're going to go to that Pitbull concert, you got to think, I'm going to be hurting tomorrow here at my hike at the Weiler Aerial Tramway State Park for the last Sunday hike. Anyway, so yeah, pretty much, like I said, there's something here for everybody. And all of these things. If there's not a lot of things going for art, I'll encourage, just being active and going out, having such a good time, and enjoying the outdoors, especially with these, before the scorching and deathly heat come, you could enjoy some of these cool days, maybe carry a light coat and stuff, some water, and you could enjoy some of these cool mornings and these warm days by going out. And, there's art anywhere. You could arguably, come on, we have the mountains. People love the mountains, and it's all over our logos, all over the city. And, you don't even need all those logos. You could just look out your window, and chances are you'll see our beautiful mountains there. So yeah, that's going to be starting for your Sunday morning, nice and early at 7:30. Bring out some people, go out, have a good time. Come out to the Weiler Aerial Tramway and go out for a nice hike, starting at 7:30 this Sunday. Followed by that, we're also going to have some softball starting at noon, and some Rhinos hockey starting at 4:30. And that's pretty much all their stuff for your Sunday morning. And again, to kind of finish off your weekend and get ready for your is it Mardi Gras? Mardi Gras the week? Is that a thing? Or is it just Tuesday? I'll try to see what I can do on Tuesday. I'll try to see what's going on. Maybe I'll share a couple events if I don't want to run over here on my time. And I'm trying to make it this shorter a little bit. I tried last week, but I like to talk. I mean, there's a lot of events. There was a lot of stuff going on last week. And there's a lot of stuff going on this week, but just not Sunday. Anyway, so to close out your Sunday night, as usual, we have the comic strip, your Salem Park Casino, the mariachi nights, and Speaking Rock Casino with another pop rock group, Steel Queen. And all these events are starting around 7. Nice and early. That way you could still turn in and, you don't have to die the next day at work and go there super early on the next day at work. And I think that actually brings our El Paso podcast to a close this week. Nice and short. That was kind of nice. We got it done, got it taken care of. So yeah, I'm going to try to go to bed. I'm going to go ahead and upload this. Don't forget to follow the AMP El Paso podcast. I do have a Twitter. I know I don't go on the Twitter a lot. I'll try to go on the Twitter a little bit more. But, the heavy hitter on all this is obviously the Facebook and the YouTube. Because they own us, pretty much. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's pretty easy. We all have our family and friends that, kids like to go on YouTube. Grandparents like to go on YouTube. I like to go on YouTube. So that's a very good kind of source to get it out there. Facebook, it's very user friendly. And Twitter is, Twitter is very quick. It's like a little chat, kind of like I don't know. It's really easy, and I should really do it more. But I feel like Facebook is enough. And it's not that I'm not proud of this podcast, but I am going to try to start kind of sharing it within the, just not on the AMP page, but also on my personal page. Probably start encouraging family and friends to listen to it. That way I could maybe get a little bit more listeners here, and help out some more people to find events and things that they want to do. Especially with the summer right around the corner, right? We can start going out and everything. And again, like I said, I am going to try, still kind of keeping with the topic of local bands and local talent. I am going to try to integrate some music on this, which means I'm going to have to keep this a little shorter. But if you do need to contact me and hopefully talk about your events a little bit more, especially, if you maybe don't have a lot of marketing and all that, I do try to encourage a lot of things that have to do with art. And we are slowly but surely moving in the direction of just being more, sharing just things that have to do with art. Even if that means, maybe not having as big as a budget. Facebook, of course, is a perfect tool for that. You can make an event, share it with your family and friends, and, eventually it'll grow a little bit more, and you'll reach a bigger audience, and you can start promoting your events. Hopefully just nice and fun things for people to go out and enjoy a good time. Especially I think that'll start bringing our community closer, which I believe we kind of need it. It can't hurt. And that way people can go out and have a good time. All right. I'm still going to try to encourage everybody to use reusable bags. Not because I think they're it costs less to make them, but because I think, we do get rid of a lot of plastic. And it might make a big difference in the future, but I think we should still try to make our part. It is gonna be a hard kind of battle, but I think the world is kind of moving forward in a good direction. And like I said, I'm gonna try to keep encouraging that. I try to do it as much as I can. Of course, every once in a while when you go some places, you do still get some plastic bags and things like that. But I try to do my part, and I'll try to encourage others to do their part, to try to help out a little bit, without trying to be overbearing. And I'll leave you with that. And also, try to use maybe reusable water bottles. Just refill your maybe a metal bottle, preferably. But like I said, I'm not trying to be overbearing, so I'll kind of work on my spiel on how to try to convince people to I guess be a little bit more eco-friendly. And I know it's, I guess, bigger corporations that do, a million times more than what I can do, polluting or saving, but try to encourage people to do it one by one. We could try to make a little bit of a dent there. Anyway, so like I said, if you have any music or something that maybe you would like to have added here on your on the podcast, on your AMP El Paso podcast, that is Art Millennium Podcast for El Paso. Go ahead and send me an email or send me your song or send me, something to promote here that you want to get yourself out there. The email is ampeptx@gmail.com. That is ampeptx@gmail.com. The AMP El Paso Twitter and on YouTube to follow this podcast. Go ahead and subscribe. It is AMP El Paso YouTube. And the little logo is there, AMP, with a little star, of course, because it's for here in our beautiful city of El Paso, Texas. So don't forget to follow, share, and go out and this weekend. Have a good time. And just enjoy family time. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy this weather. I heard that we were going to have some rain this weekend, possibly. I'm not too sure, and don't quote me on that, but that's what I heard. Okay? But nevertheless, don't let that discourage you from going out and having a good time. All right? Talk to you next week.